There is a strange moment that happens inside millions of homes around the world. Someone kneels on the floor, surrounded by wooden panels, tiny screws, a mysterious Allen key, and an instruction manual with drawings. At first, it feels simple, then the confusion begins. One panel does not fit, one screw disappears under the sofa, and one step looks almost exactly like the previous step, but somehow changes everything. After an hour of frustration, the final piece finally clicks into place. The shelf stands. Maybe it is not perfectly straight. Maybe the drawer does not close as smoothly as it should. But you look at it and feel proud. Not because it is the best shelf in the world, a handcrafted luxury, or because anyone else would pay a premium for it. You feel proud because you built it. And suddenly, that ordinary piece of furniture becomes more than wood, metal, and plastic. It becomes evidence, a quiet little proof that you can solve a problem, survive confusion, and create order from a cardboard box. This is the mystery behind what psychologists call the IKEA Effect. We value things more when we help create them. The IKEA Effect explains why people love their homemade meals more than restaurant food, why entrepreneurs become dangerously attached to their own startup ideas, why companies keep inefficient internal systems alive for years, and why some of the smartest brands in the world do not just sell products. They sell participation. And once you participate, your brain does something fascinating. It turns effort into ownership and ownership into value. And sometimes it turns a slightly crooked table into something you refuse to throw away. To understand why this happens, we need to go inside one of the most profitable ideas in modern consumer psychology. The simple belief that when people build something, they begin to love it. IKEA looks, on the surface, like a company built on affordability. Clean design, low prices, big warehouses. But underneath that business model is a deeper psychological engine. When IKEA asks customers to transport and assemble furniture themselves, it is not only reducing logistics costs, it is also changing the emotional relationship between the customer and the product. A finished chair that arrives at your door is just a chair. But a chair you build with your own hands becomes a small personal achievement. This is why the term IKEA Effect became so powerful. It describes a cognitive bias where people place higher value on things they have helped create, even when the objective quality of those things is no better than alternatives. The strange part is that the effort does not always make the product better. In many cases, it makes the experience harder. You spend more time. You do more work. You risk making mistakes. You might even feel annoyed during the process. And still, when the work is done, you may value the final product more. This is the paradox. A traditional business thinker might say customers want convenience. But IKEA showed that not every obstacle is bad. Some friction can create meaning. Some effort can increase attachment. Some work, if designed carefully, can become part of the product itself. That does not mean customers enjoy suffering. Nobody wants impossible instructions, missing parts, or a cabinet that collapses after 2 weeks. The IKEA Effect does not reward failure, but rewards completed effort. You know, the magic really happens when the customer struggles just enough to feel competent at the end. It's that moment when the user finishes setting up a profile, designing a room, building a playlist, or maybe even assembling a product. The product sort of becomes partly theirs, because the process required a piece of them. And once people feel that something contains their effort, they often stop evaluating it objectively. But, you know, this idea isn't just a clever marketing theory. Researchers actually tested it, and what they found was, honestly, surprisingly dramatic. So, back in 2012, researchers Michael Norton, Daniel Mochon, and Dan Ariely published a study with a pretty memorable title, The IKEA Effect, When Labor Leads to Love. The phrase might sound poetic, but the experiments were honestly very practical. In one experiment, participants were divided into 2 groups. One group assembled a simple IKEA storage box. The other group just inspected the same kind of box, already assembled. Then, both groups were asked how much they would be willing to pay for the box. Objectively, it was the same product. But, psychologically, it really wasn't. The people who built the box were willing to pay more for it than the people who only inspected it. In the study, builders bid an average of 78 cents, while non-builders bid 48 cents. That's roughly 63% higher for the same basic item. The difference wasn't caused by luxury, branding, or personalization. These weren't custom-made products with unique designs, just ordinary storage boxes. The only meaningful difference was labor. One group had built the product, the other had not. Then, the researchers moved beyond furniture. They actually asked participants to fold origami cranes and frogs. The results turned out to be even more revealing. People who made the origami valued their own creations far more highly than outside observers did. According to Psychology Today's summary of the research, participants valued their own origami roughly 5 times as much as another group thought it was worth. That's where the IKEA effect becomes almost funny, because, let's be honest, amateur origami is usually not beautiful. To the maker, it may look like a crane. To everyone else, it might look like a paper accident. But the maker doesn't only see the object, they remember the effort. They remember folding, failing, adjusting, trying again, and finally finishing. The object becomes a memory of competence. And, this leads to one of the most important lessons of the IKEA effect. People do not only value outcomes, they value the story of how the outcome came to exist. But the researchers discovered an important boundary. Effort alone was not enough. Completion mattered. In another experiment, participants built Lego sets. Some completed the task. Others built and then disassembled their work. When the work was undone, the psychological premium disappeared. In a later test, participants who fully completed an IKEA box valued it more than those who only completed part of the assembly. Full builders bid an average of $1.46, while incomplete builders bid only 59 cents. This is crucial for business. If you ask customers to work, but they fail to reach a satisfying finish, you do not create pride. You create frustration. The IKEA effect is not about making people do random labor, but about designing a path where effort leads to visible progress, and visible progress leads to a feeling of achievement. That is the emotional payoff. And when the payoff is strong enough, customers may not feel like they worked for the company. They feel like the company helped them create something of their own. So why does this happen inside the mind? Why does a little work make us value something more? The answer sits at the intersection of competence, ownership, and self-justification. Human beings have a deep need to feel effective. We want to believe that our actions matter, that our effort can change the world around us, and that we are capable of turning intention into reality. This is why completion feels so satisfying. A finished task gives the brain a quiet signal that you did something. You took scattered parts and made a whole. You faced uncertainty and produced order. You started with a problem and ended with proof. That feeling is powerful because modern life often denies us visible progress. Many people work on digital tasks where the result is abstract. Emails disappear into inboxes. Meetings lead to more meetings. Spreadsheets update. Dashboards refresh, and yet nothing physical changes in front of us. But building something gives instant evidence. A shelf that did not exist now stands in the room. The IKEA effect taps into this basic human desire for competence. It also connects to psychological ownership. When people invest effort into something, they start to feel that the thing belongs to them in a deeper way emotionally. This is why a person may say, "My recipe, my playlist, my setup, my strategy, or my system," even when most of the ingredients came from somewhere else. The contribution creates attachment. When we work hard for something, we want to believe the work was worth it. If a task was difficult, tiring, or confusing, admitting that the result is mediocre creates discomfort. So the mind protects itself. It upgrades the value of the outcome. It says, "This must be good, Because I worked hard for it. That is useful in some situations. It helps people persist and gives meaning to effort. It can make hobbies, learning, and creative work more rewarding, but it can also distort judgment. The same force that makes someone cherish a wobbly table can make a founder overvalue a weak business idea. It can make a manager defend a broken process because their team spent years building it. It can make consumers pay more for experiences where they are actually doing part of the labor themselves. The IKEA effect is deeply human. It reveals that value is not only calculated in money, time, or quality. Value is also calculated in identity. When people say, "I made this," they are often saying something bigger like, "I am capable. I was involved. This reflects me." And that is why participation can be so commercially powerful. This is where IKEA becomes more than a furniture company. It becomes a masterclass in turning operational efficiency into emotional attachment. Here on Business Case Files, we dig deep into the world's biggest business scandals, hidden strategies, and the powerful people shaping our world. Our investigations go beyond headlines and asking tough questions to reveal what really drives decisions that impact millions. We uncover the rise and fall of corporate empires, the deals behind closed doors, and the people quietly shaping the business landscape. If you want to understand how money and influence really work, this is the place for you. We help you see the connections and real stories shaping our economy. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode.